Into eyenzakalayo la sithola ukuthi abantu abanayo lento yokuthi balandelwe udoti emakhaya. So bagcina abantu sebethatha udoti bewufaka ema-toilet phakathi. Lokho kugcina kwenza kube nzima ke uma sekuthiwa senza sifikile ukuzoklina i-toilet ngoba sisuke sithola ukuthi ligcwele udoti kakhulu. And enye into eyenzakalayo akusibo bonke abantu abakwaziyo ukuthi babe nemali yokusikhokhela ukuthi sibenzele i-emptying. Abanye abantu sidinga uxhaso kuhulumeni ukuthi asisize sizokwazi ukuthi senzele wonke umuntu ngoba inkinga ekhona kona wonke amakhaya ukuthi abantu bagcwalele ama-toilet. Into esiqikelelayo nabasebenzi bethu ukuthi wonke umuntu ugqoka izinto ezifanelekile zokuzivikela. Ndisenza isiqinisekiso sokuthi mase siqedile ukusebenza sishiya indawo noma umuzi uklini yonke into siyilungisile ngendlela efanelekile ukuze umnini wekhaya sale ephephile.
My name is Neethling and I'm an environmental engineer focusing on fecal sludge management. The Department of Water and Sanitation's National Fecal Sludge Management Strategy has put FSM on the map. Municipalities know that this is an issue they need to solve, and they're looking for practical and innovative solutions. The cost of managing fecal sludge will depend on the actual sanitation service chain, from containment through to disposal or beneficial use. In our study, these costs range from about 800 to 2,500 Rand per cubic meter, with an average of 1,700 Rand per cubic meter. Transporting fecal sludge off-site can be especially expensive. That's why on-site treatment or revenue-generating reuse options are especially attractive. Another way to keep costs down is to bury fecal sludge on the site where it's generated.
Into esike sibone ingcono kakhulu ukuthi sibe umgodi emakhaya wonke indle sikhiphe toilet sifake khona ukunciphisa indleko zokuthi ithuthwe nge-transport because kuyabiza kuba ngcono kwehlisa izindleko ukuthi senze khona ekhaya baleni simbe umgodi esofaka kuona nokuthi sihambise nge-transport.
People worry when you dispose fecal sludge on site. They say, well, won't that impact the groundwater? But it's actually really no different to having on-site sanitation to start with. We've done a lot of research on after it's buried, how it changes in the soil, and the impact is extremely localized, very short distance.
The most common approach to treating fecal sludge in South Africa is co-treatment in a wastewater treatment plant. But there are other ways to deal with fecal sludge on its own, either in a designated fecal sludge treatment plant or in an innovative fecal sludge treatment unit, kind of like a package plant for fecal sludge.
I've visited a fecal sludge treatment plant in Tanzania, which I thought was a very simple, robust, effective design. Basically just consisted of balancing tank, screens, planted and unplanted drying beds, wetlands, some compost making facility, and a polishing pond. There were no electricity, no pumps, very simple. In Kampala, Water for People had set up a nice fuel briquette making facility, taking dried sludge and pyrolyzing it and then mixing it with other things to bind it and then making fuel briquettes, which are good value.
Treated fecal sludge can be used to produce other products like building materials, agricultural products, or energy.
So Amalulu went out on a mission to close the sanitation loop, also better known as the sanitation circular economy. And we really started focusing on nutrient recovery, and for the past 6 years we've been running a pilot project based in Gamrotsele, Limpopo. I think the success of our system lies in the simplicity of it. We separate urine and solid waste at source. We collect that, we dry it, then we shred it, sift inorganic material from organic material, and then we put it in an incinerator for about 10 minutes at 300 degrees to eliminate any pathogens. Which after it is bagged as fertilizer, and Amalulu has just recently started producing biochar as well. So even with the great success that we've had in this project, there is some shortcomings in terms of people's willingness to pay for these services. We started off with between 25 and 30% of people that's willing to pay, but that number is slowly increasing as they see the benefit of this program. So these services are obviously very crucial. The fact of the matter is that the municipalities don't really have the capacity and the infrastructure to deal with this, but it's a really important aspect of the sanitation value chain.
Municipalities know that sludge management is a problem they need to solve, and they are interested in reuse opportunities as one way to do that. There's also interest from private companies, which could potentially move sludge management from a problem to solve into an opportunity. According to some private businesses involved in the wastewater sludge beneficiation and reuse process, the current supply of their products is not keeping up with the demand. Could we see a similar interest from them in fecal sludge management?
With faecal sludge management in our community has given a lot of hope to us, and it gave our community knowledge about health and hygiene, safety. We are fighting our poverty by doing gardening in our community, and Amalulu gave us jobs so that we can provide for our families. What's more interesting about it is that the surrounding communities are interested in buying our products. They want to restock and resell them to the gardeners surrounding our villages.